All right, y'all. Welcome back to Nini's Texas Kitchen. Today, we're going to make some more candies. We're going to make some caramel chocolate turtles. So, the first part is we got to make our caramel. So, for that, you need 1 cup of sugar, and I already have it in my saucepan here. Stainless steel saucepans work the best for this to keep it from crystallizing. The other ingredients that we're going to need are 6 tablespoons of butter, 1/2 cup of heavy cream at room temperature. So I've had this sitting out for about 30 minutes. And then we'll use a pinch of salt to make our salted caramel. So the first step is turn on your burner, and you want it over medium-high heat or so. And you're just going to have a wooden spoon and stir the sugar in the bowl, in the pot, until it melts and turns into a liquid. So we just keep doing this, and it takes a few minutes. It doesn't take that long, but it melts the sugar basically and turns it into a liquid. And you want it to be like an amber golden honey color when you add your butter to it. And so it doesn't really take that long. I can already feel it starting to get ready to melt in here. But we're going to cut away, and we'll come back as soon as it's melted and show you what it looks like. All right, y'all, so I've been cooking it over this medium-high heat now for about 2 minutes, and as you can see, this is what it starts to look like as the sugar melts. So now you can turn it down a little bit and just keep stirring it until all of this will melt, and it'll become just a like honey brown amber colored liquid. And then we'll add our butter to it. So it's almost ready. So as soon as all of these little pieces are dissolved, we'll show you that part. All right, guys. So it's completely melted, and as you can see, it's kind of that brown caramel color like you would expect it to be. Now I'm going to put my butter in, and you've got to cook this, stirring vigorously until your butter melts. And it doesn't take that long, obviously, to melt the butter in here. And then it'll start to slow down on the bubbling part. Just keep stirring. Just keep stirring. All right, now I'm going to add the heavy cream. And you have to pour it in slowly because it's going to bubble up. And so you have to keep on stirring, 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 stirring vigorously to get it to all mix in good together. So you want to make sure all that butter has mixed in really good, and it has. So now I'm going to stir this in, and you want to vigorously stir. It's burning me. Ouch, it's hot. But that's normal. You can use a bigger pot, but once you get that all stirred in, then you can remove it from the heat. So it's mixed in really good. I'm going to turn the heat off. And now I'm going to add in a pinch of salt to make salted caramel. And there it is, my salted caramel. It's going to be awesome. So now I have a bowl over here that I'm going to pour it into to let it cool. And that's all there is to it. And you can use this caramel sauce recipe for lots of different things. I like to use it for these candies. You can use it as like a drizzle on different kinds of dessert items that you might make and stuff like that. But it's really good. When I get ready to make it into the candy, I'm going to take about 1/2 cup of chopped pecans that I've chopped up fine. I'm going to put it in there, stir it up, and then I'll let it cool the rest of the way, and I'll use it for my candies. Now, while I'm letting this cool, I have like about 4 equivalent of those squares of the almond bark chocolate, and I'm going to melt it. So you want to melt this chocolate, do 1 minute and then stir it, and then do 30-second increments so that you don't cook it too fast. It'll get a burnt spot and you don't want that. And I'll stir it up, and then I have these little molds that I'm going to use, and I'm going to take my little silicone brush and I'm going to brush it around in each of these little molds to make my candies. I got these off of, I think, eBay for like $3 for the set of 3. And if you don't have these, you can still make these candies. All you'll have to do is, once it cools down and gets kind of more thicker, you can take by little teaspoonfuls a little bit amount of the caramel, and you can roll it up and set it out on wax paper, and then you can dip them in your chocolate and make little round ones, or you can take it and drop it by spoonfuls on wax paper, and it'll kind of flatten out like the actual turtle candies look that you can buy at the store, and just let them get a little bit firmer, and then you can dip them in the chocolate. I like to do it this way because it's nice and neat and simpler for me as far as making the candies, and I do it every year, so it's just the way I've discovered that I like doing it. But you don't have to have the little candy molds to make them, because I just got those last year and I didn't have them before that. So I've got some of my chocolate. It's starting to melt. So now all I got to do is, I stirred it up, broke up the bigger pieces into a little bit smaller pieces, and then I'm going to put it back in 30-second increments. So that's all there is to it. I'm going to melt that, and then when I'm ready to put it in my molds, I'll come back and show you how I do it. All right, y'all, we're back. Our caramel is still cooling down, so while it's still kind of in its liquid form, I'm going to go ahead and add my pecans because it'll be easier to stir them in. So I'd like to add a little bit. It's about a half a cup, and then see if I want to add more after I get them in there. It's probably enough. Let's put a few more. I have to put them all in there. There we go. Now, my chocolate is all melted. So what I'm going to do now, and I'm just going to show you how I do a couple of them. I just take my little silicone brush and I paint it inside the mold like so, making sure I get all the bottom and up the sides. Because I don't want it too thick, but I want it thick enough to coat everything. And then I just repeat that for each one of the little molds, like so. And then once I get all of these filled, what I'm going to do is stick this in the refrigerator for like 5 minutes just to get them all the way firmed up, and then I can put my caramel in them. So we'll be back whenever we're ready to fill them. All right, y'all, we're back, and the bottom parts of my chocolate candies have gotten firm. So they're, as you can see, they're coming. I could poke them out if I wanted to, but now my caramel has also, see how it gets thicker as it sits and gets cooler. So now I can take some of it with like a spoon, and I will just put some down in each one, and it's cool enough now too where I can touch it. It took about 20 minutes to cool down to this point, so it's not bad. And you want to just put them in there like so, and kind of push it down in there a little bit. And then you want to leave just a tiny little spot at the bottom, at the top, where you don't fill it up over the edge, because you want to put chocolate over it to make your lid. If you're doing them with a mold and you're not gonna dip them or whatever. So like such, and you'll just repeat that with all of it. And then the next step is you'll take some of your melted chocolate and just put it over the top like so. And you can use the brush, or you can use your spoon and just go in and fill it all in like so. And you'll do that with each one and then stick it back in the fridge for like 2 minutes to let it firm up, and then you can pop them out of your mold and reuse your mold to make more if you need to, if you only have one mold or you have a whole bunch of candy that you're making. So we're going to finish them up and we'll come back when they're all done and show you. All right, y'all, we're back, and now all of our candies in our molds have hardened and they're ready to come out. So this is the first batch, and then I have these other ones. So if you want, all you got to do is, if you use a mold to pop them out, is just push on the bottom silicone mold and they come right out. And they look all pretty and shiny and cute. So that's all you got to do. And I want to let y'all know that on these, if you don't like pecans and you don't want pecans in it, you don't have to put them. You can just use the caramel and just have little chocolate caramels, and it'll be just as good. We just happen to like the little nuts chopped up in ours, but you don't have to do that part. So let's break one open and show you what they look like on the inside. Pull them apart, and you have the caramel with the chocolate, and they're delicious. Man, that is so good. That was perfect. Yummy. If you like my video making homemade chocolate caramel turtles, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Share my video with others. Please hit that subscribe button. Come back and see us next time in Nini's Texas Kitchen.